Good morning. It's time for me to take my braids down. One of the things I find really fascinating is how everything has an opposite polarity to it. Everything, right? So something can be really beautiful and then over time it'll age and wear, and what was new and fresh becomes old and filled with, like the death experience. And so I'm having that experience now with my braids. It's like, oh, you're going to have to take them out. You loved them and now they have to come down. And everything is that. Everything sort of wears and shifts over time. And it's just sort of a part of how it is. Hey there, Jackie, I've been thinking about you. So today is a Jupiter day, and Jupiter is at the 4th degree of Aries. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and blessings. Before I go into that, I want to say this. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to stay here on this platform doing what I do, because every day there's something different that I experience that's like, So if you guys really want if you want to follow me, the best place to really follow me is in my Follow the Sun, which you can find in my profile link, because that's my own platform and I don't have to follow any rules and regulations, because I am going to say things that are not in alignment with all of what the rules are to be here. So if you really want to follow me, do it on Follow the Sun, because I cannot guarantee how much longer I'm going to be able to be here, because I continue to experience things that make it more challenging for me to do so. And I don't know how much of that is worth my time and energy. Okay, so Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of blessings and luck and faith. Jupiter is the planet that rules our ability to expand. The thing that's very significant about Jupiter, it's about our vision, right? And so within this experience of Jupiter is the opposite. Everything has its opposite. So when we are in the when we're in the process of expanding our faith, which is a faculty like breathing or listening or seeing, faith is the same. It's just something that we have within us to do, and it is the process of being able to see a vision of something in your mind, even though it's not in the 3D reality yet. But you're seeing it in your mind and holding it in your mind and holding the frequency of it and the vibration, and then taking the actions will bring it into the 3D reality. But within that, you will experience the opposite, the doubt, the fear, the distrust. It's possible, you don't have to, but it's possible that you will experience those opposites. And it is the energy of Jupiter that really allows us to become who we're really here to be in any given moment. It is through this deep internal knowing within yourself where you don't have to be moved by what it is you see and experience in the 3D reality. And that's a huge part of creation and living and being a human being, because many of us a lot or in small various times will move into doubt because we haven't built the muscle within ourselves that allows us to traverse the dark time or the shadow time. But that is a part of creation. Creation includes within it its opposite, which is death and destruction. And so what happens is when we begin to experience the unraveling of our current reality that we're in, it will send us energy feelings of fear or discord or disappointment or distrust, because the creative process requires faith. It requires that when you don't know how or who or what, that you are willing to trust and know that there is nothing externally happening. And your commitment, which is an act of quantum physics, to see something that is not there, to see it even though it's not in the physical reality yet, to believe and behave and act as if it is not, even though it is not there yet, but to act as if it is, to act as if you are, to stand as if you are capable, even when you possibly, right? To do it as if is the act of bringing it into manifestation. And if you are not willing or capable or intentional in that act of seeing something that is not there, acting as if, even when it appears that it is, if you are not capable of doing it, fuck it. Faith is a necessary component of any creative process, whether you're creating a love relationship, whether you're wanting to build a business, whether you're creating health. Like if it's a health thing, in your health challenge, you will experience feeling like, oh, I'm never going to beat this thing. But in that, you have to be willing to know that there is an opposite to this experience, and I am going to hold that opposite no matter fucking what. You have to do it. You have to do it. You have to act by, and that is what we need now. That is what we need now more than ever. It's really interesting. So Mercury is at the last day of its retrograde. I thought the last day of the retrograde was yesterday. I was wrong. Happens. I'm wrong a lot. It's okay. But we're starting a new cycle. And here's the thing that happens. When Mercury goes retrograde and Mars moves into Aries and Jupiter's in Aries, when Mars is retrograde, we start to doubt and we think, oh, I'm not going to be able to pull this off. So you go back into an old behavior. You go back into an old pattern. And then you fuck it all up. Because no, if you go back to the old way, the universe is not going to be able to bring you what you need for the new reality to come down. So when you go back, you almost have to start over. At least you have to start over at the place where your faith gave up. She says, Spirit just told me this in my sitting meditation this AM. This message is confirmation. Yes. So many of us are here at this time as healers or teachers because that is what is happening in the world right now. We're watching all the calamities and all the things that are breaking down because our old system is dying. That's the only reason why. You know, it's just like a human being who starts to age and their body begins to break down and they can't do the things that they used to do. They can't function the same way. They can't run as fast. They can't think as fast. They can't see as well. They can't, because the system is breaking down. And as the system breaks down, there are many of us who are here in the interim before the new system really comes into full effect, who are here as the way showers through these modalities and gifts and talents that Spirit has gifted us with to be people who are going to support people out of the old way of being and into the new way. So many of us are beginning to tremble. We're beginning to fucking get afraid because it looks like things are not happening the way that we think they should or the way that we want them to, or we're facing some sort of challenges that have shown up because of the retrogrades. These challenges that have shown up are just challenges to help you really shake yourself free from the old reality and step into your new power. And it's important that you realize that you have to have faith. You have to trust all the work that you've done before, and you have to find a way to have the courage to stand in the reality that you have created, even though it's not fully birthed yet, and even though you might be running into obstacles to know that what you have been doing is exactly what you have needed to be doing. That nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Stay the course. Stay the course. Stay the course. So, and if the people in your life are becoming full of doubt and going back to what they thought was, they are not the ones. They are not for you. Let them go. But don't you turn back. Don't you turn back. Let them go back. And you continue to walk the path of your faith, to stay committed to your vision. But do not turn back. Because guess what? The people who turn back, they're not going to go find what they think they're going to go back to. It's not there anymore. That reality is coming undone. So they'll be back. They will be back. And you get to make a choice if this is somebody you want to interact with because they didn't have the faith, right? So when they come back, you have to remember that they didn't have the faith to stay the course. So maybe this person doesn't get to sit in the passenger seat. Maybe this person isn't somebody you want to really partner with. Maybe this person or this experience isn't something that you feel that you can go all the way with. You have to really understand what the people you align yourself with, what they're made of. And love. No judgment. But if somebody is not suited for the job that is needed to be in alignment with you, that's okay. That's okay. Right? No judgment. Don't make them wrong. Don't be a hater. We don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. You'll get stuck in some old bullshit if you start doing that. But what you want to do is just, and then, give them something else to do. Give them another role, but not the one that they have, because they can't hold the energy of that. That's not who they are. So Jupiter at the 4th degree of Aries. Aries is new beginnings. It's war. And so, like I said, when we have all this Aries energy, it's all this new energy that comes in. But if you have not prepared for what is to come with this new energy, it's almost like, somebody gives you a whole... Like, people want money, or people are like, I want money. But if somebody gave you a ton of money, if you didn't have any preparation for how to use it, you would just fuck it off. You would just fuck it up. You wouldn't do anything with it of value. So this is why it's important to be prepared, so that when the new energy comes in, you're not just reactive and angry or spinning or blaming or react, like you literally know what to do. Okay, the new energy is here. Now it's time for me to do this and this and that. But that's because you've been doing the work. But if you've not been doing the work, when the new energy comes in, you just get stumped. You get stuck in an old pattern. You get stuck in old ways of being because you've not prepared. You've been saying you want something, but you've not done the work to actually make it happen. So you have to start where you are. You cannot skip steps. It's just not how it works. It's not how it works. But we live in this reality where it's all about money and capital and business, but we don't understand what it takes to run a business, what it takes to actually make the thing that you think you want to happen. What will it take to sustain that? What will it take to actually make that come alive? What are you doing about that part? You have to do that part first. You do the internal work first, and then you do the external work, and then those two energies work together. You do the internal work, which is the feminine. Then you do the external work, which is the masculine. And then the feminine and the masculine work together and build you a new reality each and every day. But if you've not done both, and most people don't honor the feminine because they think the internal work it's not necessary. You don't need it. That's weakness. We already know what to do. And that's the trick of this reality. That is the trick of capitalism. That it has you so focused on the outcomes, so focused on, what you're going to get, that you're not focused on the internal process that gets you to the outcomes that you desire. Can't have one without the other. Doesn't work that way. So if you're going to run a business, if it's a business or if it's a relationship, if you're not healthy, if your physical body isn't healthy, then you become dependent upon the person in your relationship. If your physical body isn't healthy and emotionally sound, then you can't run your business. You have to do the internal work first. What will it take for me to be able to sustain this? That's the internal work. What will it take for me to be able to sustain a relationship that is built on longevity and honest and truth? Where in my life have I already been cultivating that? And if you haven't, then you have to do it. Because then you will bump into something where you don't have the groundwork in place to sustain the actual external thing that needs to run. Jupiter is about expansion and blessings in Aries. Have you laid the groundwork for your expansion? Have you laid the groundwork to expand? Have you done the due diligence? I've been spending for the last few years, last 5 or 6 years, I was in a business for a long time, but it was really just a hobby. And in the last 3 years, when I committed myself to it, I realized I didn't have time for anything but my business. I couldn't think about anything but my business. So many people left my life because I no longer was flexible and available in the way that I had been, because I had to lay the groundwork for what I was doing. And that meant I couldn't think in the way that I had been thinking. I couldn't behave in the way that I had been behaving. I couldn't align and talk and be in the way. I couldn't do it anymore because it was out of alignment with the integrity of the frequency of my business. And so all sorts of people and things fell away. Not because they were bad, but because they were misaligned with the direction that I was going in, so that I could lay the foundation for what it is that I'm up to. Have you done that work? Because now Mars is in Aries and Jupiter is in Aries. So we're in a new cycle. So we're building a new reality. And for those of us who are here as healers and teachers, and we're standing in the gap for people who are transmuting their lives out of the old system and ways of being and moving into new. We have had to do the work to lay the groundwork. So now we can actually support people through the modalities and the resources that we developed over the last few years. We can begin to execute those resources and share this wisdom so that other people can get themselves free. If we laid the groundwork, if we have put the foundations in place that will allow us to be able to erect these new systems and ways of being and share them far and wide. But you have to do the groundwork first. So, Jupiter is in Aries, new beginnings. And I believe the moon today is at the final degree of Cancer, I think. I'm not even sure. I don't even know how I come in here sometime without being ready. It's Mercury retrograde. I just get so discombobbled when Mercury goes into retrograde because I have a Gemini moon and a Virgo sun, and both of them are ruled by Mercury. So my whole reality gets turned around. It's disconcerting, but now that I've lived long enough understanding what it is, there was a time in my life when this stuff would happen energetically. I had no idea. I would just get depressed, and I literally would just go through these emotional deaths, and so I would feel like I needed to really die. And I would be so afraid of it. So then I had to start making peace with death and understanding what it meant to have Pluto conjunct my sun. And then I needed to go through these big transformations and release and let go and not hold on. And then I would recover. I would come back to life again. But I had to learn how it worked. And because we live in a system that doesn't tell us anything. It's just here to keep us sick, keep us stuck, keep us, keep us yearning, keep us chasing the carrot, But when we understand how we function, then we can begin to transform, and we have to remove, You have to prune your energy. You have to cut things away to make space for the new. If you don't, there is no space for the new things to come. And most of us don't prune. Most of us don't. We're too afraid to do it. We will hold on to relationships that no longer serve us, that don't feel good anymore, that aren't aligned to us because, we want to be liked. We want to feel connected. We want to feel important. And those relationships are draining your energy. That energy where those relationships are going is where your new life is supposed to give birth, where your new ideas are. Like you're in an old relationship having old conversations about shit that ain't gonna never change. How many of y'all know people that talk about the same thing and that shit don't never change? My husband did such and such and such and he won't. The same shit she was saying 12 years ago. And you're giving your energy to that? That's some bullshit. That's what you're supposed to be giving to your new business. To your new health regimen, to your children who really are, here to bring new things in. But you still talking about some shit that don't matter with a person that ain't gonna never motherfucking change. I have somebody in my life who says to me, I don't even know you. Who you were when I first met you, you don't even exist. You just change all the time. And every time they say it, I just laugh because I think to myself, you say it like it's a fucking insult. This is how we're supposed to fucking be. We're supposed to change. But because they're not changing, they think that me changing is wrong or chaotic. But I just go, because there's no point in even trying to justify it because they don't get it. The things that I used to care about, I don't care about anymore. The things that matter to me don't matter to me anymore. So if somebody is in my life and they're talking about some bullshit that they still talking about that we were talking about 3 weeks ago, 3 years ago, get the fuck off my phone, okay? I am a coach, and even when I'm coaching my clients, if they're not making progress, I'm not your coach. Go be with somebody who can really support you. Go be with somebody who can move you forward because I'm not the one who can do it. We don't have affinity for one another. Thank you, Oya Cubana. So it's important to know that change is the way of it. There's nothing else going on but change. And if you're not doing the work to clear your old behaviors, to catch yourself in the act, that's why I'm offering this Saturn in retrograde class so that we can really look at our patterns. Like I have some really fucked up patterns, right? And that's a judgment statement, but I'm using it for effect. And I have some patterns, and here's what they look like. Oh my gosh. I love to entertain people in my mind where I'm just thinking about everybody else's problems and what they got going on. And oh my gosh, how can I help this one with that? And what is that one doing? And blah, 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 blah. And then I figure it out and go share it with them, and they don't do shit about it. It don't change at all. So I have just spent 3 days thinking about their shit, and I share, and it doesn't, right? So that's one of my patterns. I have had to uproot that out of me. Like I've had to take antibiotics for that motherfucker. I had to be like, I'm gonna need me some antibiotics for my people pleasing. Because I'm just in everybody else's business. I have been in everybody else's business. Well, I'm gonna need some over-the-counter medication for this shit. Trying to figure out everybody else's stuff, right? Like that's one of my patterns. What's another one of my patterns? Oh gosh, let me see if I can tell on myself. What I have tons of them. The only reason they're not coming up quickly is because you guys are here and I don't really want to tell on myself. But I have tons of them. Oh. I have a pattern of I tend to go to war with things that are fixed. They can't be changed. I tend to go to war with them directly, and I think that I can just overpower things, and I cannot. That is not how it works. It's like my physical ego has a way of believing it can beat anything and it's like, bitch, girl, let's sit down. This is not changed. Like, you cannot do it this way. You're going to have to do it another way. It's a very interesting sort of egoic thing that I have inside of me, where I just feel like because I see that it's wrong and it needs to fucking stop now. And it's just some bullshit. It's just some egoic shit. It's like, who do you think you are? You think you're so special because you can see that it's wrong? And you think that because you see that it's wrong, it should stop? Yeah, okay. Like, I'm self-righteous. You know, I have a self-righteous thing inside of me that's like problematic. So that's another one of the things. And so so what I do is I look at these aspects of myself, and then I ask, how can I reframe this energy? How can I use it in a way that actually works, that actually is supportive, that actually is going to make a difference? Otherwise, I just go to war with things, and exactly, it's all right to walk away. So that's another one of my patterns. Like the self-righteousness, and I'm gonna fix it and make it be what it's gonna be. Oh gosh, I think I've shared with you guys how my grandmother, when I was a little girl growing up in Watts, and it was really a lot of poverty there, my grandmother used to do a thing to help me not behave like the other children. She would always say, "You're better than that. You're better than that, Monique. You're better than that. You don't have to do that. You're better than that." And it really helped me, because I didn't I didn't become a drug addict, and I didn't become a thief, and I didn't rob banks. I didn't do the things that people resorted to. I did not, because my grandmother would tell me, "You're better than that." But the flip side of it is that I really believed I was better than people. And it is a problem, because those actions were not for me, but I was not better than those people. I was better than those actions, though. And so I've had to really recondition that, because I took it on like I was better than people because of the choices that they made. No. We all are angels. We all have the energy and the vibration of angels within us. We all have that, right? But it's something that everyone has angel energy. Everyone has dark energy. None is better than the other. It's just how we use it. And it's all a fine choice, whatever you do, right? And so, because this is a vibrational system, no one can harm someone who's not in their vibration. No one can harm another person who's not in the vibration that they're in. So I had to really realign that energy and get like, yeah, bitch, you're not better than nobody. You're not better than anybody. Those choices are beneath you. If you choose for them to be beneath you. But you are not better than any other person, no matter what they do. No matter what they do. I had to really get that. I'm still getting it. So it's time for us to lay down a new mindset, to learn to think, to face ourselves, to face our darkness, to face our own demons. And that is why I created the Saturn retrograde class. And it starts tomorrow, and you will have until the 7th to register for it. So, anyway, I'm very excited for the Mercury retrograde to be done with. Mercury retrograde has been grinding me to a halt, and I cannot stand it. You said, did I miss you talking about you? Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Charlotte. Jupiter is in Aries at the 4th degree. The 4th degree is beauty. Now, the question is, can you make beauty? Are you willing to see beauty in whatever is going on in your life right now? That is such a high call. That is such a high call. And this is our power. This is when we're using our power. This is how we use our power, to be able to look at something and ask Spirit, where's the beauty in this? To be able to look at these, murders that are going on in this country and the criminal activity that goes on in the system and ask, where is the beauty? Where is the value? Where is God? Where is the light? And because everything is within everything, within the darkest, darkest dark, there is light for the one who is willing to call it forth. In the most heinous criminal hatred, there is beauty for the one who is willing to call it forward. But you have to be willing to call it. And then you have to be willing to hold the consciousness of it and see it from within yourself until it manifests in your motherfucking reality. So be the light and be the beauty. That's right. Learning to see light in our beauty and our duality. So there you go, everybody. The moon is in Cancer, so there's a lot of feelings and emotions going on right now. And it's only at the 17th degree. So the moon is not even going into Leo. Let me just tell you, I'm cranky. I am cranky, and it is beautiful. The moon is not even going into Leo until tomorrow. But all is well. So Mercury turns retrograde tonight at 1 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. The moon goes into Leo tomorrow. Mercury will be direct at the 25th degree, which is the degree of, I believe it's the degree of silence. No, it's the degree of desire. The 25th degree is desire. And so what it's important to really be clear about is, what is it that you really desire? What is it you really desire? Most of us don't know. You hear me say that a lot. Most of us don't know what we desire. So you have to ask. You have to ask, what is it that I really desire? I remember there was a time when I desired to have a show. Like, I really wanted to have a TV show because I thought, I live in Los Angeles and I'm in Hollywood, and I feel like that was a powerful thing. And then I had a moment of being able to do it. Like, I created a reality where that was happening, and there was a room full of cameras and people doing my makeup and people who were going to be the guest. And, we had our talking points and we did the show. And afterwards I was watching it and I realized, oh, this isn't it. I thought I desired this because I saw somebody else having it, but this is not really what I desire. And I realized that I thought I desired it, but I didn't really desire it because television shows don't get the results that we really want. Like, I really want to experience people's lives being profoundly transformed. And when you're in that environment and people are paying the budgets, you can't do what you really want to do. You cannot. You have to adhere to the laws, to the rules of you have to adhere to the laws of commercials, and you have to make money. You have to make it dramatic enough, and drama doesn't heal people. You have to make it salacious enough so that people want to watch it, and that's not what's healing. That's just about money. And so once I got clear that I didn't want to just make money and want to just be in front of a camera and be seen, I wanted to actually offer content that was deeply transformative and that made a difference in people's lives. I was like, oh, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. And so you're right. I actually do have a show now. This is my show. This is it. And I get to do what I want. And that's what I'm saying. It's important for you guys to come to the Follow the Sun platform, because I can't always be as transparent here because there are rules to being here. And so in the Follow the Sun community, I can do whatever it is I want. And that's where I can really share, the tools and the resources that I've learned to support us in getting our consciousness free from this reality, and understanding that this reality, Harriet Tubman helped people get their bodies free from slavery. And that's what was needed at that time. But what we need is for people's consciousnesses to get free, because the real prison is your mind. and you don't even know it. I don't even know it. We don't even know where we're imprisoned in our minds. So, all right, you all. And better than any damn TV show I've ever, thank you so much. I've received truth and knowledge and healing from your IG shows. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. I'll see you all in the Saturn retrograde class. We're going to be breaking curses, releasing ourselves from karmic bounds, realigning our minds and really learning to think in alignment with the cosmic laws and universe so that we are not subject to anything but our own truth and the divine. All right. Peace and blessings. I love you all. Bye-bye.